I'm Andrew Armstrong and welcome to the Art Hole, where I teach you how to draw using everyday tools and equipment you can find in your house. So the first thing to do is do away with this plain paper, because nobody likes that plain paper. It's what you use in a printer, and frankly it's overkill for what you're going to be doing. You need a proper art paper, and the only way of getting it, of course, is in one of these pads from Poundland. It's got lines on it. The lines are there to help you with your drawing, so that's exactly what you need. I'm going to hold it sideways. It doesn't matter which way the lines go because you can use them either way. I have two pens here. One is a regular black pen that I think I found in the street, and another one is a blue pen which I also found not quite on the street, but the equivalent of the street, which is eBay. Someone was selling it, and it uses ink cartridges instead of a whatever you call that, an ink tube. That's it. That's all you need, and you can become a master artist like me in the same way. So I'll just sort of show you the sort of technique and how you should begin. So think about what you want to draw. So if you think about something like some anime, and you want to draw an anime, you want to start with the big eyes, because they always have big eyes. So there you go, a couple of big eyes, and they always have a crazy expression, like a sort of wiggly line. Maybe a little nose like that, and don't forget the eye thingies like that. They always have this weird thing on the head, which I think is supposed to be like a bulgy vein, so they're like fraught with anger. Some sort of a hairline. So remember, that's where their sort of hair is going to go, and then their hair, and you're pretty much there. Look at that amazing art! It's already pretty amazing. Now, because this is an anime, of course, it has to be in some sort of sexy robot mecha suit. But this clearly is a guy, so I'm not going to draw him too sexy because I don't really know how to draw sexy guys. But what you need to do is just work out the proportions. Then you've done your collar there of your mecha suit, and you can just do a little fine line here. Decide where the body's going to go, because people are made up of bodies. So if you imagine underneath, you've got a rib cage there, and then you've got a pelvis, which is probably a bit like a triangle shape, but the rib cage kind of comes out like that, you see. Then you've got shoulders that bolt on, so you can just draw like some sort of shoulders and decide what's the pose going to be. Maybe this guy is holding a weapon, so he's got a forearm that's over this way, he's got another forearm that's going to be underneath cradling something, and there's the sort of hint of a hand, and you imagine he's got a shooter. He's got some sort of shooter. You can fill in the shooter details later. And I don't know, what sort of pose would you have like that? Maybe he's just standing straight on. So work out how big the thigh is going to be for you, and then just start putting in some thigh-ish shapes. And then you've got knees, and you're done. Look at that! It's an anime. I'm going to just sort of go over now. Woohoo! Got some sort of elbow pads. They're sort of that stretchy material. Got some hand stuff going on there. Again, got his forearm here, but it's not going to have the stretchy thing, but it will have some detail for that because you'll be able to see it. Breastplate. I don't know really what to do. Maybe I'm just going to do a. There you go. Pants. It's battle pants. You've got to work out how you want to do your battle pants. Battle pants. Like that. So that's pretty much the ultimate in drawing, I think. You'll agree. So if this is his hand, by the way, they're going to have some sort of trigger mechanism. So you know that the trigger is going to be here, so there'll be a handle there, which means, of course, then you've got the butt of a gun here with a sight, and it's going to go up. He's maybe holding it on. Maybe it's got some sort of like pump action style reloading railgun. Yeah, that's going to do. That'll do the trick. There's a muzzle there. Boom! And this guy's called a Kiko. And that's again what makes it totally anime. Yeah, actually, I think that's pretty good art. That's how you draw a person. And again, you use the line paper. Then you can rip it off. Just basically take that, throw it in the bin, and then you start again. And I don't know, that's pretty much all I think you need to know how to draw, actually. I'm going to try to do a cat. How about a cat? Cat's got ears. Cat's got another ear. Yeah, I think I've already kind of going wrong here. Because a cat's face, I reckon, is probably quite round. He's a happy cat. Cats have this triangular nose. They've got that kind of... They got that going on, don't they? That's a definitely cattish looking thing. But I can't think of a cat's eyes. Their nose is pretty small, so their eyes are going to be quite close together. And they've got that weird eye shape, don't they? Yeah, that's a pretty damn good cat. There you go. That's how you draw the cat. Again, get rid of that. What else can we ever go? Let's try some technical drawing, shall we? A battery. How about a battery? That's some serious battery action going on. I'm trying to think, how do you do the end of the battery? Because the end of the battery, that's almost like has to be 3D, doesn't it? Because you've got that thing on the end, but you kind of want to... Whoa, there you go. 3D-ified. Whoa. It's definitely masterclass here, guys. I'm going to even do some... I'm going to do some shading with this pen, but this is terrible for doing shading. But let's see how you do it. Because you kind of start off with lines that are quite far apart, and then you make them really close together on the middle of the battery, and then far apart again. That is pretty crap. Yeah, that's pretty crap. Done a bad job there. Let's try another lozenge shape. So you've got a cylinder. You can probably do a better sort of shading with a pen. A regular ink. Bic Biro. Yeah. That's pretty much all I used to just draw, pictures of batteries as a kid. That's batteries. Things I'm calling anime that are clearly wrong, just to wind up people who are watching this, but just stupid pictures. And maybe the odd cat. Trying to think, I used to do a lot of drawings like this, by the way, as well. I used to just take a shape, geometric type shape, like a triangle, and then I would sort of partition it off. And I've decided this shape has got these internal structures in it. Very alien looking, actually. And I would have to then decide what these structures would actually contain. So you can see that they're sort of randomified structures, if that is a word. Well, it is a word, I've just made it up. And then like this one would be full of like circles. I used to do this tiny scale. This is about 4 times bigger than I used to do it. It used to be just tiny drawings. On the back of the old bus tickets you used to get when you used to get the bus in London. He used to give you this slip of paper basically. And I just go through it and just decide that these are like squares, or maybe it's circles around the edge as if it's like pop riveted. And then there's some panel work in there, a bit of panel work. And then maybe there's even just substructures, so all of a sudden it just does that for whatever, no reason. And that would be shaded. And I'll do that till I fill up a whole sheet of A4. And it would look crazy cool. It would look mental, because it's just this sheet full of detail. So you can have a go at doing that. Sometimes I used to always like doing like these weird antennas that would sort of fly off at an angle, but they'd always have to have, you see like I'm doing here, they always have to have one edge that was always parallel. So regardless of what was going on, they'd say they were curved. I'm going to curve these ones now, like that. They always had to have some sort of hard edge going on. Like I was OCD about this hard edge bit, and they always have to be just fully darkly shaded. Fully darkly shaded. I don't know why. It's bonkers, isn't it? It is bonkers. It is bonkers. I'm even looking at it now and it's annoying me that the other ones aren't shaded. And I don't really want to shade them because my hand hurts, because how often do you ever use a friggin' pen anymore? Because this is like when you used to just sort of practice for exams. you'd have to get used to holding a pen again for like 3 hours of exams. That's kind of what I feel now, that pain there. But I just can't let it lie. I have to keep filling in these bloody things because I drew them. So yeah, it's clearly triggering something in my brain that's saying, nah, you stay until the job is done. And that's almost there. Come on. So, I got to show you something else I used to draw a lot of. There you go. Done. I used to spend an inordinate amount of time. I'm going to use this. I know it's messing around you. Just use whatever paper you got. It's all bullshit. Just draw. Drawing's just drawing. I used to do something like this. I would take a piece of paper and I would, I don't know, sketch a sort of terrain. This is a terrain. And then I'll draw possibly another line across the bottom. And then I'll definitely draw another line across here. And then I would draw another line across here. And I bet you can't tell what I'm doing because it's a bit mental. And then I would do possibly something like that, and then maybe another line across here. But this would be a thicker line, it'd have to be. Because, of course, I would be drawing an underground base, and this is the sideways view. So if you play games like Sim Tower, which came decades after I was doing these drawings, that's kind of their view they use on the world. So imagine this is like a mountain, and this is a base underneath a mountain. It's really close to the ground here, so that's why it's extra thick. And it's going to need these extra sort of thick supports here. But perhaps that's where your bunker is for your scouting vehicles. So you need some... look at this is extra strong. It's made of metal. And then I would just sort of get addicted to sort of drawing these and thinking, okay, so this is an underground bunker, which of course now we have the zombie apocalypse and stuff going on. It's more sort of relevant, really. So what you'd have somewhere is like maybe down here you've got like the generator room, and the generator room has to be on the lowest level because it's going to make noise, and you don't want people walking on the top necessarily to be able to hear the noise. But if you've got the generator room, and I'm just going to crudely, I'm just doing it quickly, got your generators here with all of their engines and stuff like that going on, there's going to be an exhaust pipe, so it's going to have to come up through here and then through the bulkheads there, but then also sealed because you don't want the fumes ever escaping and that'll kill everybody in the thing. So there's an extra collet that goes through that level to this this area, which is just solid. This is solid dirt on this level. And then you've got like maybe a sort of chimney pipe that's coming through here, but it's sort of, you know, there's like a bush or something up here. This is like into a forest, so you'd have to go and draw the forest. So you're getting that through there, but this would actually probably be going through a heat exchanger and sort of distributed among that forest, so you wouldn't be able to see that from infrared above. It would just be a gentle glow, although to be fair, I don't know how effective that would be. You might have it bubbling through an old lake if you were really that way inclined. So that's what you've got here. You've got the generator room, you've got the bulkheads, and then I would just do that, decide, you know, where the living quarters would be, and you'd say, well, maybe the living quarters would be here because they're underneath all of this dirt, so if someone then attacked you it would be absorbed somewhat. And I would just sort of partition it up and just draw little rooms and draw maybe beds and cupboards and computers, maybe a computer room down here, but not next to the generator room because that's obviously where you put the workshop with your crafting table and your tools, etc. Machine tools. There you go, bandsaw. You'd have a computer room at some point, but maybe the computer room would be far away because that's all the crude mechanical stuff, and then the computer room would be here, which would be now a server rack, so I can just draw a modern day type server rack, possibly containing the sum knowledge of the whole of humanity. The olden days, of course, it would be spinning tapes with flashing lights. So that's the bedrooms. Then you're going to need like the whole, you know, maybe the small sort of kitchen area. Again, I'm not doing a good job of this, but I just sort of realised games like Terraria and stuff are kind of emulating this, aren't they, a little bit? Kitchen area, and then of course you'd have like the leisure lounge. You'd have your sofas, TVs, etc. These scribbles are pretty much scribbles. Yeah, I can't even tell what these are, what I've just drawn, but I'd have to fill them out. And then the arcade, because you'd have to be kept entertained, of course, and these are your sort of arcade machines. And That's one. That's a sideways one on one, and that's going to be a frontways one. There's the stick and the buttons right there. Great. Although now I guess you just have a Xbox or PlayStation. So this is the really cool bit though, because this is your this bit here has a massive hinge. We'll have to make the sounds, of course. And then you're going to have here a massive piston that's bolted to that, because that is a hinged section that flops up like that. Again, you can hear I'm making sound effects as I'm doing it. It's bringing me back to my childhood. Here, of course, is the hydraulic pump for that to operate. And because this is like where you're going to have like your massive, like whatever you decided your vehicles you need are. So there's going to be like, this is going to be definitely a tracked vehicle. I was going to say a scout vehicle, but I don't know. Let's draw a futuristic tank, because a futuristic tank's super low profile. Because it's a stealth tank. You don't want it to pop up too much. And of course, in the background, you have a ramp up here too. So it's a pretty steep angle, I'll have to say. I'll have to give it that. Has to be a stealth tank, because it's going to crash its roof off here if it's too tall. And here's, of course, this is like a girder held up with RSJs, and so on. You go through here, you're going to have a shelf here with all the tools for maintenance and blah blah blah. And that was it. I'd spend hours drawing these very complicated bases, but then maybe I would just, as part of my drawing, I would just sort of like draw an aeroplane or something, or a bomb. Hear the sound effect? And then I'd say, well, that's taken out that. It's a bit like Worms. Do you remember that game on the PC, Worms? Same thing, right? It's taken out that. So now it's not only destroyed this ground that was providing some radiation shielding, it's actually also destroyed a bedroom. So that's not good. I mean, that could have ended up with fatalities there. So you've kind of killed it. Your base is crap because of this one weakness. Designed it wrong. Put the bedroom down here next time. Fill that full of something like sewage storage. Yeah, I was worried about also the idea of when you see these underground bunkers or bases or whatever, and if your main door, say that's your main door here, gets knackered and it's all just covered in rubble like that, it's just totally shafted. I think you always need to have a little extra way out. Do you see what I mean? Like you need like some stairs somewhere. And I've seen this in real underground places where they have stairs and there's just like a little hole in the ground. It's like a door, a mysterious door with a bush next to it. And that's how they do it. And it always makes me amused, because you think you've got all of this heavy stuff at the front of these underground facilities, but they've always got like a really weird back door, just a metal door at the top of a row of steps with a bolt on it. But I guess it's easily defensible, isn't it? I mean, if you considered something like that would be an actual tunnel, I guess with a really massive heavy door here, I guess you could secure this door as well as you could. The idea is though someone could probably lob some grenades or munitions down here, so you need to make sure that would be really tough. But I suppose you could also arm it with some sort of explosives and then cave in the mountain if you really wanted to block that. And then that would be that shape. Level it! So yeah, if you are interested, of course, in having an underground bunker designed, I'm happy to do this for you at the cost of £2,000 per hour. I'll just sketch this out and I'll let you know. But on a more professional note, maybe perhaps one day I should do this, but also I would calculate the energy cost. So I really wanted to convert this into a game, for example. So this would actually be a generator, and it would be generating a certain amount of power, and all of these devices would need power, and they'd have a consumption rate, and then you'd have food storage, like here, shelves of food, and that would have a certain burn down rate depending on how many occupants. I think it'd be quite interesting. You could really design something up quite nicely actually and do it properly. So there, that's again the end of Art's Hole, with me just scribbling and talking bullshit. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed wasting the last 20 minutes. Look at that camera. Focus camera. I don't know, maybe I'll do another one. maybe we'll see what the underwhelming response is for this. It is a bit of a piss take. It's actually April the 1st today, but it's not likely to be April the 1st when this video goes out. But I'm feeling a little bit creative, wanting to do something else than just open up a piece of equipment. So yeah, that's why I've done this. Look at that. That's quite good. Yeah, I'm very pleased. This is a very pleasant looking hand. Maybe this is the sorry, I've just sort of diverted now. I was going to sort of close the video, but no, actually I still want to go. I'm going again, guys. No, I just want to do like maybe an Iron Man thing. And I'm trying to think, how would you make that look a bit more less crap? It's sort of metal, so it'll have, you know, kind of some sort of reflection lines going on. But how do you make? I'm trying to think, how would you shade that to make it, you know, bright? Maybe you just got to do some sort of radiating effect coming out of it. Not getting the perspective right. Remember, it's all trying to terminate to the centre. So yeah, crap. It looks like a really weird hand with a hairy mouth hole in it. Yeah, bye.